Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and the Spring Marathon Training Club episode 2. So yeah, it's great to have you along. Let us know, what race are you training for? What's going to be your spring marathon? And hopefully we'll see you there as well. Because yeah, we're going to try and do a few meetups at a few of the spring marathons as well in London and Boston and places like that. So yeah, let us know where you're racing and how is your training going.
So last week we spoke about a few little things to kickstart you on your marathon journey. So hopefully you've been putting those into practice. From now on, each episode is going to have its own dedicated topic, and today we are going to be talking about pacing.
So yeah, pacing, something that a lot of sort of amateur runners really struggle with, to get how fast we should be going through our runs. So long runs, intervals, fartlek runs, and all of these different things that we're going to be covering now, and how to know how fast to be running each of these things. That will probably be appearing in a lot of your plans that you're following each week. So stay tuned, we're going to give you the best guide you've ever seen on pacing.
So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is easy pace. So Ben, what is easy pace?
Well, easy pace is going to form, for a marathon runner, it's going to form quite a big chunk of your week. This is when we're really going to build our aerobic engine, which is what we need to be able to run for a very long period of time. So when people start out running, you get sort of out of breath quite quickly, and it's all a bit laboured and difficult. But while we build our aerobic engine by running easy, it means we can relax a little bit and be able to run for a lot further and a lot easier. And that's how we build our endurance, is by running easy. So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to work out what our easy pace is. So down below in the comments, we've got a downloadable PDF chart where you can look at what your sort of goal time is and then sort of relate to that and find out what that easy pace is. Now, easy pace means different things. You can work out in sort of lots of different ways. I normally say it's around about a kilometre, 1 minute per kilometre slower than what your marathon pace is going to be, as a sort of a rough guide. And you can also work it out by, it's around about sort of running, if you've got a heart rate monitor, then under 150 beats a minute. As a rough guide, this is going to be different for different people. As a rough guide, under 150 beats a minute for your easy run. Or if you're just out with your mates, you're just having a chit chat as you go along, conversational pace. Just so you can, you're not working really, really hard. Now, for a lot of us, it's going to mean slowing down a little bit. See so many people out tearing around the place. You've got to slow down, calm down, and get used to running at that easy pace. Because as I say, that's where we build the endurance we need to get through the marathon. So easy pace, really, really important, fundamental part of your week for marathon training. So do you like easy running? I do a lot of easy running a week. Around about 80% of my kilometres every week are just very easy conversational pace. Just out, chilling along by the river, listening to a podcast sort of thing. Right, so moving up a little bit now, we get on to marathon pace. And what is marathon pace? So Sarah is going to take us through what is involved with marathon pace.
So especially if you're doing your first marathon or you've never done a marathon before, how are you supposed to know what your marathon pace is? So what we normally say is you can take a recent 5k or 10k, a 10k or a half marathon hard effort or race that you've done, ideally within the past 6 months. And there are lots of different kind of race time predictors available online. We'll put a link to our favourite one, which is the Jack Daniels Speed Dot Calculator. We'll put a link to that in the description below. So you can type in a previous race, and then it will kind of figure out roughly what you're capable of for the marathon.
And also, just to point out, you may not have a target time for your goal. It may be your first marathon. You're just like, I just get round in whatever it is. It really doesn't matter. But it's still good to work out roughly where you think you're going to be at, so you can put the necessary training in. We want to be doing quite a bit of time during the week running at marathon pace. It gets our body used to feeling what it's going to be like on race day. But in training.
So the next one, we're kicking it up a notch again with tempo runs. So what we normally say is tempo pace is kind of that comfortably uncomfortable feeling. So something you could hold for about an hour. So for most of us, that will be somewhere between our 10k pace and half marathon pace. And the reason that these are really important is they build that speed endurance that we need for long distance running. So you've got your intervals for your speed and your easy long runs for that endurance, but we kind of need that middle ground as well.
And so, like we said before, it's a little bit hard to work out exactly where these ones are. So we say around about between that 10k pace and half marathon pace. But it's really good if you're not sure, download, as we say, download, completely free download the pacing chart below, and you can get some ideas of what your tempo pace is down there. So yeah, another one to fit into your runs. You want to put in this one maybe in every sort of 2 or 3 weeks. It's really good to have a good tempo session. Maybe you've got a 10k race, and those 10k races in the build up to your marathon can be active really good tempo sessions as well. Right guys, notching a pace up a wee bit more, we're going to get to sort of intervals. Now, there are so many different types of interval sessions you can do. We can't possibly, that'll be a whole sort of video in itself, but very basically intervals we're running at a very fast speed, so around about our 5k pace for a sort of a short burst of time, and then relax, and then we go again and then relax. Now that can be anything from intervals, you could be doing anything for marathon running, tends to be around about 400, 800 meters for our sort of shortest ones, up to like 1k reps, 2k reps. It really helps build that VO2 max inside us. We need to sort of get that up. We've got to run fast to get fast, but you've got to be used to running at that uncomfortable thing. When we get into the back end of a marathon, when it's getting tough mentally, you can take yourself back to all of these sessions. They're really good mental sessions to do as well. You think, oh, that suffering I've been through in those sessions are going to get me through this race when it's starting to get difficult, and also really helps promote good form. It's really hard to sort of run fast with bad form, so really good to help with your form as well. Right, notching the pace up a little bit again, we get to fartlek runs. And yeah, these are really good. You might be out sort of putting a week together, and you really don't fancy like a whole full-blown session, but you would just want to go out there and have a bit of fun, do something a bit different. You don't want to go out for a little plod. So that's where fartlek comes in. Really, really good, fun thing to do. Invented by the Swedes, I think, who, yeah, it means sort of speedway in speed play. It's not speedway, that's motorbikes. Speed play in Swedish. So yeah, Sarah's going to take us through all about fartlek running, and yeah, really good to get this into your week.
So as Ben said, you can include this in your week. It has a lot less structure to a standard interval session. So for example, you could use some landmarks in the distance. So say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna sprint to the next bin, or I'm gonna jog to the next time I see a bench, or whatever. You basically vary the intensity, so the pace and the distance or time, and then you're giving yourself a little rest between each fast burst. So kicking it up a notch again, we have strides. So what are strides? You might have them on your plan at the moment. They are essentially 20 to 30 seconds-ish of fast running that we normally tag onto the end of an easy run.
And these are really, really good to put, yeah, probably at the end of one or two of your easy runs during the week, because they really help promote really good form. And it's also a very good way of adding some strength work through the week, because it really helps to strengthen up your legs. And they're just generally quite good fun, because it's probably the fastest you're really ever going to run during sort of your weekly training. So really good. Just finish up with your easy run, sort of pause your watch or whatever, save the activity, and then yeah, just sort of compose yourself. And yeah, it can be anything from like 100 to 200 meters, 20 to 30 seconds of that all out fast running, really helping improving your form, which is going to help come race day. If we're running with nice form, we'll be flowing over the ground really nicely. And yeah, things like injury prevention as well. It's all so many good things that can come out of adding some strides into your week. And yeah, moving on finally, not necessarily to a particular pace, but a particular type of run, being the long run. So yeah, as we said last week, long run is the most important part of any marathoner's training week. Now what we really like to do is break up our long runs, because we see a lot of amateur runners that go out to try and run their marathon pace. In the first week, they'll probably run 10k, then they'll try and run 12k, 14k, and just try and run the marathon pace longer and longer and longer until you get to race day, and then they'll try and run all race day at marathon pace. But that is put so much strain on the body, and it's just a little bit unnecessary in our experience. So what we like to say to people is break up your long run into chunks of running at marathon pace. That might be 5k easy, 5k marathon pace, 5k easy, 5k marathon pace, things like that, or 5k easy, 10k marathon pace, 5k easy for a 20k run. We're spending lots of time running at that marathon pace, which is really good. It gets us familiar with it, but we're not fatiguing our body so much during this run that we need to take like the next week off. Yeah, so it's all about sort of balancing that load that we're putting through our body and getting ourselves used to running at that marathon pace and used to running for a long period of time as well. We might be going out for 2 or 3 hours during the weekend long run. So what with a little takeaway that from this point is to spend some time running at your marathon goal pace, but try and break it up a little bit. All of our plans do have that broken up, and we have different sort of distances each week, and mentally it's so much easier. If you're just running for 5k at this pace, 5k, you'll find we can't speed time up, but it just tends to flow a lot easier through the week. So yeah, that's how I do all of my long runs, just having these blocks at different sort of paces. So yeah, give it a go. We think it's going to be really help out with your marathon training.
And finally, one last thing to add, now that we know what paces to be running at, how do we actually put that into practice during our runs?
Yeah, because when we're out and about sort of in the wild on our runs, most of us are obviously going to have a Garmin or other brand of watch on our wrist. And what we want to have on there, we really recommend is putting your lap pace on there, because that's going to measure the particular mile or the particular kilometre that you're running on, and that will put a figure on the screen of what pace that is. So if you need to be running, say you've got 3 miles to do at 8-minute miling, for the first 3, just look at that lap pace, just make sure it's about 8-minute miles for those first 3, and then it will click over, and then say your 4th mile, we might go up to like doing 7-minute miles or something, and then just check each mile that you've got that 7 there recording on the screen. So yeah,
so there we go. Hopefully now you feel a lot more confident on how to run each of your runs and how to put all those different pacing strategies in practice.
And yeah, I hope you really enjoying these videos, guys. Please share them with your friends. You may have some of your mates out there training for their first or sort of second or early marathoners out there. So yeah, share the videos. Really appreciate the support. Like, and yeah, share, comment down below, and just let us know how do you enjoy long runs? Do you enjoy your tempos? What's your favorite pace to be running at? Probably marathon goal pace for about the marathon distance, I would have thought, because that's at the end of the day why we're all here. So as I said at the start of the video, we are organising some meetups at the moment. So yes, because we really want to get out and meet with the community, meet some more of you people out there, which would be really great. And finally, of course, I couldn't do a video without saying thank you for the support with the hats. We've got some new gear on the website soon, some woolly hats for February because it's still a little bit cold out there, and yes, the buffs and wraps and things as well, and of course these lovely hoodies really helps make this channel possible. So yeah, thank you from the bottom of our heart, guys. So that's it, we'll be back next week. We haven't really talked about what we're doing next week, but let us know what you want to hear. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for all support, and we'll see you in the next one.